was here all day, and so saying the great introduction to how important soil is and how important nature is, and that is kind of what the point I want to make here. I'm trying to talk about bioproduction. So, talking as an artist, from an artist point of view, and I'm used to think with my hand and not much talk, so I'll do my best. Just to give a little bit of context, what's interesting to me is the idea of country economy, the frugal innovation and open source art. So that's how I kind of got confronted to blockchain, because otherwise I wouldn't have never even heard about it. It started last February with a workshop on the blockchain in Lausanne that brought to different people that trying to understand this. It was an opportunity I participated in that, working on that project, that open source art project called 𝕊𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚. 𝕊𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚 is a project started by the art collective in which you have Primavera de Filippi. She also is quite involved in the backfeed project that you heard about before. And so this open source project, I think, is very interesting because it puts, like she says, I actually stole the slide from her presentation also. The work versus auto, and it's an open source. And I thought as an artist it was quite interesting to participate in that and try to just take another person's work and see if I can bring something into it or contribute to it. So as an experimentation and to learn by making, like you do in a Fab Lab, I participated in the 𝕊𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚 project. So this, the one you see here, is a Primavera first plan. And this one you see over there is my first proposal. We discussed it a little bit together during the Lift Festival in Geneva. I told her about it, and she presented me her project, said, okay, this is kind of what I want. So she basically told me, yeah, this is an open source project. Take it, do it, and make something out. And so already I think it's a good representation of what also the blockchain forking, saying you have something, just take it, no authorship and none of that. So this project evolves through different types of contribution. It was in Paris, Andrew shared thing that became something else. It actually became the Twin Sphere with, so we developed and did a little bit of a hack lab like we're going tomorrow with Xavier that's here, not listening. And, so this is a co-created project, and so I'm not going to go in very much detail about what the 𝕊𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚 project is. This is just in very short. This is an art piece that actually owns itself. It's on a blockchain. But it's a sculpture and it's trying to reproduce itself. So for that, it's going to use some kind of virtual money to actually pay artists to make new on the blockchain. So the body is a mechanical structure and also a raspberry that's going to allow talk with a network. And the soul is Ethereum and contract. Again, that will go, anybody that comes tomorrow will know that in more details. It's just to give an example. And I think there was so much technical things that I'm going to do a very bad job at trying to even do it, so I won't do it. But that's bad there. I show that because I thought it was quite interesting that even the press kind of takes this 𝕊𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚 thing and make whatever they want out of it, creates a new thing. I liked it. So there's forks, there's perspective. This is first the 𝕊𝕠𝕦 idea. Then I added this natural thing. I wanted this item so have a part that's nature and some idea of survival in it. So there's some moss, and then it became this what I call the smart forest or as a DAO, which is actually something interestingly enough that exists also as an art project called 𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕦𝕐𝕗𝕚. Some artist student artist from Berlin came up with this idea. So a forest that owns itself on the blockchain and can sell timber, its own timber. And so, as an artist, I tried to see, okay, what is that thing, what's a DAO, what's a blockchain, and I made some images, made some physical things for it, but then I also thought it would actually be good for. So something that I think is really important is deforestation. It's an issue that needs to be tackled. And I wonder how can a blockchain help something? And so I'm thinking this represents this idea of simple production, so where those things, and instead of actually polluting while producing things, we will actually have things growing, and it will use CO2 and produce oxygen, things like that. And how can that happen? So there's different ways. There's poetic, I'm thinking about it, and then like you take this, you take the perspective of the plants, and you put yourself in a perspective plant, and you try to create more of a relationship with them. So I have a lot of my artistic work that's about this, create a link with plants, mental spaces. That's one of them that you're seeing there. And there is more like technical solution to this, where we're gonna use all of the new technology that we have, so we can actually take into account what nature has and take into account its complexity and use it. And so this is the idea of like maybe we will have a whole 3D database of what trees already are growing, what shapes they are making. And an architect or a designer could go into that database and see this 3D model and only use what he needs, and not we don't grow wood and make it into planks, but we use what's there. That's where the blockchain comes into action, because possibly a big database of what is there, what the nature is actually growing, that's this miracle that nature is. Maybe with all that technology that we have, we're able to actually put all of that in a database and then say nature is a DAO, already is one, but then it owns itself. And then instead of deciding that humans can actually have a piece of land and take it and then sell it back, nature owns itself. And if you want to use part of it, you make you actually have to do that. You actually make the DAO a proposal, and through this smart contract, you will say, okay, you're giving us enough money or not money, and we're going to accept or we're not going to accept your proposal, and this particular tree will accept or not accept to be cut, but you will why you want to cut it, why you want to use it, and then maybe there is a possibility of having a little equivalency in the way we see ourselves. Like we always see the world as something that humans own, and then maybe owns itself, and then it's also have a voice because it has money, and so it can actually use its money to hire a lawyer and fight its right to not be torn down in great quantity, or it could be use money to reproduce itself in a smart way, or different things. But this is just the idea of using, that's what an artist blockchain inspired me. It's to say, okay, maybe nature can own itself and have its own right. Yeah. Oh, there's a question. No.
I'm thinking about when you give nature a voice, I'm thinking about another form of externality, which is the future generation. Do you think this could be, this concept about nature or about a tree could be extended to a future child or future human being or future tree? Or do they have
I think that actually what's great if we put each tree, if we give each tree an existence on a blockchain with each one of them, even when we cut it, it's actually stay as an existent thing. And I don't see why the next generation could not be also part of it. But in all reality, I have no idea what it could actually do. I had another eye thinking, instead of talking, I will ask everybody to stand up and try to feel like a tree for a moment and see what will happen if you were all part of a DAO. So maybe that will have been a better answer to the...
It's a curiosity, what hashtag you have the word tier you?
Oh yeah, because I didn't translate it. It's actually the third place. But it's one of those, this is how you call it, a fab lab or a place like here, or this is those places that are a place where all kind of different people meet and get to do things a different way.
Okay, thank you.